screaming too, yeah, I guess. Can you take the Twitch link and go dump it to the admins who want to come and see what's going on too?
Yep.
All right, we may be alone in here for the moment. Okay. We said we were going to start at 12:45. Hello, Locke. So...
Locke will understand our suffering.
Yeah, Locke, you'll understand our suffering. I'm not going to say it's summer vent all over again, but...
It feels like it.
Oh, we're very quiet? Is this better?
Maybe we just sound really subdued.
Hello. Yes, okay. I'll definitely sit closer to my microphone then. Apologies.
Scoot, scoot, scoot.
Yeah, we're in a very different place doing this today. We're sitting in like my mother's dining room.
Woo.
Yeah. If the echo is really bad, let us know. We're still quiet?
Okay, there is an echo.
Well, this is why we started streaming 10 minutes early.
Okay, where go?
My dad said we can go to the office. It's a mess, but we can go there. Or we can take any one of the bedrooms that have carpet.
Fuck it, YOLO.
All right, YOLO it is.
All right, 1 second, guys. We've got to go migrate.
Yeah, well, but you'll hear the difference, Zeke. You'll hear the difference. Okay, I'll take... All right. Oh, you know what? I should also turn up the mic volume. Yeah.
I'm assuming you want coffee brought with you?
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Scoot, scoot, scoot. Oh, yeah, no, it's an absolute mess in here, but we'll figure this out. Okay.
It's safe to shift these photos over this chair.
Yes, it's safe to shift them.
Okay.
We're sitting in a crazy place right now, guys.
So,
We didn't plan per se for this podcast, so, we're not in our usual spot. We're not doing our usual stuff.
here, put that on your side of your computer. No, not that. This.
Okay, jeez. Thankfully, we're not recording right now.
Oh, we're not?
No.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. We started streaming a little bit before we started recording so that we could do the testing with the microphone. How's this? Is this a decent sound for everybody?
Test, test, test. Talking, talking, talking. Woo. Which is it?
Zeke, are you sure it's not you, friend, if everyone else is able to hear?
How high up is the gain on that? Okay. She sells. Whoa, that was a bad one to pick for that.
She sells seashells by the seashore. Is that what you're going for?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just get hyped, Jill.
No, you get hyped. This is not a hype topic, though.
So yeah, for understanding, we're at Jill's parents' house. They're in the middle of remodeling, so we're sitting in an office surrounded by pictures. It's great.
Oh, I was touching it every now and then, Mizzy. I was playing with stuff, so that might be why it sounds like that.
Oops, I left my mouse in the other room.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so welcome everyone. Hopefully you can see our impromptu splash screen. As I said, I'll start let me go ahead and start the recording. It's 5 minutes early. I don't care. We're getting everyone we're getting in this situation, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I've started the record as well. Welcome to the Tokotas podcast. We have a interesting, air quotes that, topic today. If you've ever wondered what an admin meeting looks like, this is going to be as close as you get because other than managers, most of the admins are learning the extensive details of this right now. Plenty of them knew in advance that there had been problems, but they're learning the details. We decided that we would do it on the podcast. That way it could be recorded. We would explain it a grand total of 1 time rather than 20 times. And then from here, we would post this link on an announcement in the group and give everyone a couple days to vote on what we want to do for the solution. So, yeah. That's true as Lua. Many people looked at it and went, what?
Okay, so this started with me trying to do this on my own, being like, I don't understand what's happening here. What is going on? And having to drag Jill in a week later. At which point I realized, that's why this isn't making sense.
Yeah. So a lot of this just came to my attention in the last week. And obviously, as soon as I saw something was wrong, my gut was, okay, full audit. We need to do it. There's an issue with World Tour Brawl, specifically in scoring. The process of relic points is working fine. The process of the rounds of brawls is working fine. There's not an issue there. The actual math behind the scoring, again, is okay. We're not seeing anything. There's been issue in process, and it's been pretty nasty. So we're gonna...
Well, we should probably do... For clarity, we were working on getting the Faux Spear Brawl results handled. Team's been swamped, so I was trying to handle it. Then we realized that Makarok never got announced.
I'm not sure how it took me this long to find out that Makarok had not been announced. I was running under the impression it was last year. And when I came in to help Dunn finalize the math, I told her to go and find me the winners for Makarok so I could put their previous win penalty on. And there was no announcement. We went and we double checked, and sure enough, they hadn't been announced. To which I was not pleased, but...
also prompted we need to do all the things again.
So then we went and grabbed Makarok at the same time, and we started going through it, and as we were going through Makarok, we realized that Aloric wasn't right, and neither was Narnvok. And there's a lot of things going on here. It's not like one issue that rules them all. There's a couple different things. We're going to go through it from beginning to end so you can see where things stood, where they should have stood, and then we'll make decisions from there. It sucks. Let me just say, this really sucks. This is not what I wanted to spend my week doing. But it is what it is at this point. So we're going to correct it because when we discover that mistakes have been made in Tokos, we fix it. And when it's a mistake this big, Locke, I know, flashbox. When we discover it's a mistake this big, we also run on a transparency where everybody needs to know about it. It's not hidden. We can do some corrections here. We can make up some of the stuff that's happened, and then we'll make decisions from there about what we want to do. Yeah. Okay?
But because Brawl is one of our few PvP aspects of the game, we don't want anybody being like, well, why is that different?
Exactly. All right, so we're going to be screen sharing. Okay, oh gosh, Done. Where do we even start here? Do we go look at the original sheet first?
I don't even know, man.
Yeah, okay, well, let me pull up the original sheet. All right, so this is the original sheet in which things were being tracked on. It also has all of the original judging, and very short-sightedly, it didn't have a different judging tab for every region. So we do need to go into revision history to see some of these things. We're just going to start back in Narnvok. I can point out the biggest thing that went wrong there, and I actually will take the blame for that one, at least for half of what happened there. So Narnvok is when we were originally coming up with the formulas for how everything was going to work, and anyone who was part of it at that point remembers that ghosts in round 1, which would have been surfing, didn't do anything for you. They didn't count. You'll see they're all scratched out because they didn't count. But in the second round, ghosts did give you points. They were supposed to give you 3 points for a first place, 2 points for a second place, and 1 point for a third place to give the people who actually were putting in entries that little bit of bonus, but also Ghost kept a raffle stomping regardless because RNG is what it is. So that didn't happen. I am very frustrated by that statement. Ghosts were given full points in Narnvok.
Actually, in Narnvok and Aluric.
And Aluric, which changed the winners because they weren't supposed to get full points. So in this version of it, they are getting full points. I think I need to go into revision history for us to see that.
Do you need revision history here or on the other tab?
I think this one's got the revision history for the Brawl.
Narnvok got announced on 4/11, so you're probably looking 4/11/21.
Let me go look at the sheet. Is this Narnvok? Okay, this is Narnvok. So this is Narnvok right here. These are the numbers that we're looking at. Don't worry so much on this relic right now because this is all... I'm going to deal with relics in a second. We're looking first here at the Brawl. So these are the numbers that were put in.
They can't see your highlighted text.
Oh, they can't see when I highlight a text? So I'm looking at...
No, there it is. Never mind.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, so let me highlight them so they stay highlighted. All right, so we're looking at, for anybody who's joining us, rows 22 through 28. We're looking at those right there. So you see we have the faction, we have the number of entries, and the Brawl points. For entries, in round 1, ghosts never counted against you in any capacity. In round 2, placing ghosts counted as an entry. So that you didn't gain benefit with no weighing. So this 11 for like TB right here, that means 11 entries, and an entry counted against you, period. If a person drew something, put it in, it was an entry, whether they placed or not. For ghosts, in round 2, only ghosts that placed counted as an entry. All right? And then the points here, this is the combination of points of everything from round 1 that a person scored and everything from round 2 that a person or a ghost scored. That's just wrong. The ghosts were supposed to get less. And we know that a couple of these numbers also weren't mathed out correctly. When we go look back at all of it and we grabbed all the information and we pulled it forward into a new sheet, we learned that the numbers were off. I'll show you that because these are all the new sheets and these are going to be publicly accessible. So our Narnvok one here, let me pull this over. This is Narnvok round 1. Here's the numbers and the rounds. Let me see, like here, this double on line 88, here's a good example. WT took second place. Is that second place? Yeah. But in round 1, even though it brought points up, we don't include those points. At least I'm pretty sure we don't include those points. Then did we make sure we didn't include those? I don't think we did. So this one might need an update.
Okay, let me go take a look real quick.
Yeah, Dun's going to go make that correction, but I'll show you round 2 because in round 2 I know we actually did this correctly. Here we go. Round 2. Dun's going to go account for that to make sure it doesn't change any more totals for us. But here, if we look at this last one here, we have the 7th rider. They came in first. They got 5 points. We'll see that the LK Ghost, that's what this empty space means on 74, came in second. They only brought 2 points back. So that's it now accounting the points correctly. Wherever it's a ghost, they were just doing that. So in this case, on line 71, you'll see like the TB Ghost took it. They took first. It only brought 3 points, not 5. In the original Narnvok, that TB Ghost brought back 5. I think you all see where the math has already gone wrong on this. And Dun's actually fixing this one.
I'm just going to make it if ghost, no points.
Yeah. Dun's fixing this one so that the ghost points are being pulled. Well, no, ghost points did still count, didn't they?
Not in round 1.
No, they did not in round 1. Narnvok's a special snowflake because the scoring changed halfway through. We saw from round 1 that without the ghost scores, small factions stood no chance. They didn't.
Oh my god, how did you do this?
Yeah, so Dun's fixing that. This scoring right here may change in a moment, but we'll show you where it stands right now.
I will double check in just a second. I'm grabbing this formula.
you'll see that it should have been,
if F6 equal 1,
for TB, it should have been
E6 equals no.
16 entries, not 11. And that's the same for KS. KS had full 27. You'll notice that it wasn't written as 27 on the last one as either. So this is the actual totals. Dunn's making sure that the points are correct, so this entry may change, and that's okay. We'll update it across the board. That's half the reason we're doing this in front of everyone, to go over our math and make sure we catch any more mistakes. In a moment, I'm going to ask for questions. When I ask for questions, it's okay to say, hey, I think you have a math error here. We'll double check it at that point. That's why we're having this podcast.
Jill, I need your help on this if statement. I messed it up. I'm just trying to get you to do 0 if.
0 if?
If F6 equals yes, or if F6 equals yes.
Okay, so you're making your life real complicated. So you see here where it says, if E6 equals no, it's 5. Just change those all to zeros.
The second numbers?
Yeah, that's the no. The second number means this is a ghost. So just change all of those to zeros. And now ghosts give you no points.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, formulas. So Dunn's going to fix all of those. This way, if I go down here, yep, ghosts score no points going down. And that's how we want it to be. All right, so I can jump back over to judging. And so the numbers on judging will change. We have this so it's pulling forward all of that information.
There's no more chance of it going awry. All right, so read me the placements now for actual.
Okay, actually, it doesn't look like the placements changed all that much.
Okay. I need this for Narnvok.
Okay, so here we go. Now looking at Brawl, TB still took first. KS took second. PB took third.
I'm just looking at the actual.
Oh, those numbers didn't change. The placement didn't change.
Oh, okay. Well, I already copied the points over. So
okay, placement didn't change, so you're good. All right, so that's how that worked. We're looking at it. The TB round, these were a little wrong because of those numbers, but for the most part, it stayed pretty consistent. Relic points is actually where Narnvok went the most wrong. And you're like, how is that possible? I'm going to show you how that's possible.
In a very silly way.
Yeah. Not that one. This one. Okay, so I have been through the history of this point by point by point. Literally, I was going through these point by point, looking as the sheet got built to figure out where this went wrong. And this is where I said there was a part that I was like, I'll take the full blame for that. Here in the Brawl calculation, for some reason, they used some test data. As far as I can tell, numbers are not accurate here at all, so the winners were off and we had to redo it. Here, all of the numbers were accurate other than, that's not the one I want. October, here you go, February 24th. Here we go. Here's what I wanted. This is the final day of Narnvok scoring. So the numbers here, you'll see that KS for some reason has 331 relic points. I don't know why. I don't know why I typed 331 in that box. At best I can tell it was test data when I was playing with the formula, because this was the first time we'd scored relic points and we were building the formula appropriately. We do a weighting here. We took how many individuals there were, and then we built a weighting factor based on that. So how much does each one of their points account for based on how many people are playing, to keep it even, so that you can see here, LK, every one of their points was actually worth 4.25. It was worth 4.25 because that was the only way to keep them staying competitive. But huge factions like KS, their points were worth only half. Their actual total was 140. I think what happened, I have no faith in my statement. I think what happened is when I built this, I put test data in to play with it to make sure the weighting was appropriate. And 331 got left in place there, and it didn't get caught. I'm sorry, KS, you didn't win relic points in Narnvok. You didn't. So Dunn went through and redid the counting of Narnvok. We put it in here. She went through the thread again, and we relogged everything with rank, with relics, to make sure that everything matched up correctly. So even if there had been a math error in the comment, which we didn't find any of those, but just in case there had been, it would come up like this, and then how many users. Additionally, we made sure to account that you yourself only counted once, so that if you count, how do I say this correctly? There were situations where like LK is the best to look at for it actually. So in LK, you'll see that Aura posted twice. In the original calculation here, Aura was being counted twice, even though Aura should not have been. They were the same person putting in relic points. It was individual, not entry for relic points. So we've resolved all of that. We've got the judging up. And I'm sorry to say, KS, you actually came in 4th in this round.
But fun fact, you did still kind of win the region.
Yeah.
Technically, 4 people won the region.
So I think KS won original region, but as you see here now, actually PB, KS, WT, and TB tied for region championship in Narnvok, because that's the way the numbers fell. What we're going to do is KS got a raffle for that. We're going to do a new raffle for PB, WT, and TB. That you'll only be raffled against your own people. So the WT people will be in one raffle, the PB will be another, and the TB will be another. So you'll each get your own raffle. Regardless of what we decide going forward, that will be happening. Period. Okay? We're going to fix and catch up any raffles. And there's going to be a few situations here where the wrong faction completely won and got a raffle. We are not taking back any prizes. This was our mistake. We would not go back and pull a Geno that we gave a year ago from someone. That's just cruel and wrong. So we're not doing that. Get that out of your head right now. You don't have to worry about what if I got a prize I wasn't supposed to. It doesn't matter. You get the prize. Keep it. We're only going to additively give to anyone who should have gotten a prize. Okay? So this is what Narnvok actually looks like. I'll jump over to the overview. So here's what the actual winners of Narnvok looks like. This is what we originally said right here on line 9 that I've got highlighted. And then on the actual up top, this is what it actually looks like. So WT will be getting 2 raffles, PB will be getting 1, and TB will be getting 1. And we're going to resolve that. Okay? That's what happened in Narnvok. Questions? I'll accept comments at this point in time. If you notice we made any other mistakes in our math, let us know right now. Half the reason of the audit is that.
I'm watching podcast questions in Discord.
Okay, perfect. Anyone typing?
Nobody typing yet, but since I answered these in Twitch chat, so we should answer them aloud. Locke asked, relic counts were based on those that were handed out or those that were turned in?
Turned in. Relics only count for those that are turned in. That allows people to control their ranking before we count something. So you can be working on your rank, get all your relic points, get your rank up, and then turn them in at the end for full value, not just your rank when you scored them. Not to penalize people who do the Brawl stuff early.
Yep.
Exactly.
And then rank multiplying factors were taken into account for certain.
Yes. Oh yes, for certain. They were taken into account. I think what was logged for the original relics and what was logged on the second audit, those numbers matched as far as how many points you got. There was a little bit of discrepancy on individuals, the number of individuals, but
that was very minor because only a couple people post twice.
Only a couple people posted twice, and we resolved that in our second run. But the rank factor, they were correct. When I went through the Narnvok comments and the Aloric comments, I haven't done, you did Mock Rock and Fospir, I believe.
I checked everybody's rank of Tokotna logs rank at the time they submitted to be sure that the comment matched. So everything is good.
I only checked the ones where the number didn't match the rank as it was supposed to be. So as far as we can tell, no rank wasn't accounted for in any of this. That part was actually done right.
Woo!
Yay. All right, any other questions?
Not a question, but Sev says super appreciate the transparency.
You're welcome. Okay. So that was Narnvok. Now we're going to move on to Aloric. So part of the reason Aloric has gone kind of wrong is that there is how do I say this? There is a previous winner penalty. Let me show it. You'll see it on this column. Column F, it's previous wins. And we would put how many previous wins you have because you actually get a negative to your point total. You're adjusted for that. And that's it's like faction. It's not fun if one person's always winning. So there is a detriment. You get a fatigue as you're going so that other people have got, the ability to strive forward. That does mean that in Aloric, KS got some fatigue it shouldn't have. It's not fair, to have that happen, but it is what you didn't see that. That's for later.
Maybe you should close that.
I can't. I don't want to go find it again. I had it open so I wouldn't have to go find it again. You didn't see it.
Why are all the double underlines there again? I'll go fix the formatting.
Okay, you go fix the formatting.
That.
Probably not, but okay. So here's Aloric. I'm going to close Narnvok. I'll reopen it again if people have questions in the end. So here's Aloric. And we went through and re-logged all of these. Oh, because we're talking about transparency. When we say we re-logged them, we went to the original judging sheet. We re-logged the numbers on the judging sheet. We did not go through and find the random rolls that everybody got that were logged. They're logged off in a server. We didn't go and match all of those up. We have no reason to believe that the judging itself was unfair or anything like that. It's just the logging issues we found.
Specifically, I went through not the Google sheet that's shared with all the point totals. I went through the scoring Google Doc, which is...
Actually, I do have it. I'll give them a look at it.
Alert scoring.
Alert scoring. So this is the original scoring doc. It's got all of the judging, how it works, what adds, what doesn't add, how that does, and then how many relics you get. So when we come down here, you can see round 1. You can see that right now all of this has been laid out. No effect, this, and this. This is all here. We have literally no reason to believe this isn't correct. That the totals coming out weren't correct. So this is what we're basing it off of. This is what we put it on. All of them are just as detailed as this. So the judging itself is fine. We just took the information off of this and moved it on to here. And then allowed the formulas to give points based on that so that we weren't doing any of the math for the points. And the way that we did this is either myself or Dunn sat and did the round, and then the other one went and double-checked their numbers and made sure that everything moved over correctly. So at this point, we've had 2 sets of eyes on every single import of information again. And then only math is making the determination on point values, placements, and final points. So in KF, or in Aloric, we did notice, let me go to this one, go to Aloric. Here's where the final points were. We did notice, of course, the ghosts weren't being counted correctly. I don't know what happened on these ghosts. I can only apologize. Because Mockrock and Foespear haven't been announced, we don't have to go and retract anything. The original judging as it was laid out, though, had the same problems. It was just never announced, so it's a lot easier for us to correct it. It's a win that you never knew you had. But on Aloric, the wrong people won things. And that's just the truth of it, because the ghosts were counted incorrectly. These ghosts should not have been bringing full points back, and they were, which greatly affected the brawl in this region. In the first region, we got away with it because ghosts didn't count that first round. They never were in it, so we were only taking half of a region's points. It didn't move people around too much. And we noticed that when we counted entries, the entries didn't match in a couple situations either. The entries had been badly counted. The numbers themselves, I believe they were actually okay. I'll pull the revision history so you can see it. And this got announced in...
8/1/2021 was when we announced it.
8/1/2021. No, that's Tuesday, July. Okay, it got announced in 8/1. Then the July 29th is the final scoring. So, we had Makarok on there, but yeah. Brawl point entries, Brawl point. There it is, sheet 5. So here's what they were. These numbers are 50. Let me pull up my Aluric.
Here, I've got Aluric open if you want to read them, and I'll just...
I've got Aluric. I can show both of them. So you can see the numbers didn't match up correctly. Thankfully, TB did have the correct fatigue on it, so that's not so bad. Like, no one was taking fatigue that wouldn't be. But this is what TB actually looked... Or, sorry, not TB. I say that because I think TB didn't win this when they should have. Dunn's checking for me to the side.
That's Brawl. No, we were properly announced for that. It was Relic winners.
Relic. And this is something we also need to point out. The news that was released for Aluric said that TB won Relics and that WT won Brawl. That's
from the old sheet, they were reversed.
From the old sheet, they were reversed. WT won on the old sheet. TB won Brawl and WT won Relics on the old sheet. They were announced reversed. We're not as worried about that because they both got a raffle, and the raffles were the same on both sides, so we're not so worried about that. But because of the bad scoring that happened, the region winner was different. For Aluric?
No, what was different for Aluric is TB swept.
Oh, right.
So, Relic winner was wrong, region winner's fine.
Yeah. Apologies, all apologies. So,
we've been through so many iterations of this at this point.
We have been through so many iterations of this, and we kept going back over it and finding new places that we hadn't mathed correctly, so I have too many numbers in my head. That's why there's 2 of us and all of you to keep us honest about this. So the faction, the final winner remained the same, but I do believe a couple people switched in the later rankings.
Which changed points.
Which changed points over here in the end. I'm sorry. Let me pause and explain that, because people are looking at it going, what do these points mean? They probably, not everybody knows. So to stop any one faction from just running off with it, what we did is, rather than gaining the points of whatever you were doing, so like everybody here didn't gain this or even their adjusted total in points, this is just what was used to decide on placement. And then if you came in first place, you got 6 points. If you came in fourth, you got third, fifth, second, or excuse me, fifth place, 2 points. You can figure, I think you all follow that ranking. First place got 6, sixth place got 1 point. So you always got a point regardless, but it's how many points you got. And then the region over here, this was the total of your 2 points together, and that made the determination of where you fell in the region, and that's how we determine region winner. So only 12 points were given out each region. It's the same back in the Narnvok as well. There was only 12 points given out each region, and that way, if we're only doing 12 going forward, every faction still has the ability to catch up. At some point in later regions, we will reach a point where a couple factions can't. We're not there yet. There's still time for any faction to catch up, but with probably another 2 regions passing, if your faction's so far behind in the rankings, sorry.
But the thing that, when you're looking at the overall World Tour Brawl Grand Championship, just because you don't take first doesn't mean you're not getting something.
Exactly. And you can still win a region. Like, you should still be competing to win the region, because the region raffles are really nice too. Yeah, so the Grand Championship is its own counting, and we'll talk about that in a bit, off on the side. And then every region has a champion, and then Brawl has a champion, and Relics have a champion. We call that the Adventure Champion sometimes, so interchangeable. They also have champions. So every region has 3 raffles that go out, and then there will be a grand champion of the Brawl, and that'll be the faction that won the Brawl when all is said and done.
Or what, 4-year-long Brawl?
Shh. So, this is the Narnvok.
No, this is Aluric.
This is Aluric, thank you. So this is Aluric. The Brawl itself was okay-ish. There's a couple later placements that got messed around with, so they had an effect on the overall total here. And then we come down to Relics. Do we remember what happened here on Relics? Because the Relic winner changed.
Did the relic winner change? Oh,
Yes.
Show me the old one again.
This is the old one for relics.
Why am I staring at that screen like it's going to be different than what's on your screen? 882. KS has one fewer people than it should.
And KS was getting a thing they weren't supposed to, because actually it should have been WT that was getting fatigue.
I think it was the switch of the fatigue that did it.
The switch of the fatigue, and I'm not cussing only because we're recording this and we're going to put it up later. But there was, what's the word? Shoddy logging on this. We went back through, we relogged this, we got slightly different totals across the board on some stuff, and the reality was that WT did not win. In fact, they came in 4th. They would have come in higher ranked, except the fatigue was imposed on them when we went and did the audit, and the fatigue brought them down into 4th. Yeah, so I'm sorry, WT, you actually didn't win relics in Aluric. I feel so weird saying this because I am one of them. Token brokers swept Aluric. But you see there's 8 people there. This was the region with, I know that WT went crazy hard at it. Mm-hmm. I know because I crafted like 8.
You mean TB.
TB, thank you. This is the region that I crafted like 8 different Tokoades and then just handed them out to members of my faction. So like I do know that they went crazy this region.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so technically TB was denied a raffle it was supposed to have.
However,
Dunn and I feel awkward about giving us a raffle because it is our faction.
Also, if I remember correctly at the time that those raffles got rolled, we had very few qualifying winners that it could have been from. So I don't think we have any left.
I don't think any, yeah.
Because if you won in Narnvok or if you won in a different raffle, you can't win twice.
That's not true. There wasn't enough people for us to do that.
I'll have to go double check that.
Yeah, no, that's not true. Every raffle has to be its own thing because there's not enough people in certain factions to do that. We'd run out of winners.
Point, LK would be...
LK could only win one region. No, that wasn't the case. But in this faction, so as a reminder, Aluric was paired. So
you know what? Locke's got a point. Mm-hmm. You could always roll the TB raffle and abstain from participation if you feel weird about it. Technically, I already won one of those, so I'm out of this.
You couldn't win anymore. Yeah. Regardless, you couldn't win multiple raffles in the same region.
That might have been what got us, and yeah. I think we had some quote-unquote faction traders.
We did actually.
Which took you out of the raffles because of how that goes.
Basically, there was only 6 people who were actually eligible in TB to win something, and 6 people won something because they ran out of people. This was a paired faction, so WT and TB were paired, meaning if one of them won or something, the other side got to be included in their raffle as well, and that's how we ran out of TB people. So like 2 WT people won something for relics, and then a TB person won something as well. And then we won the grand championship. So literally everyone who was eligible has already won something. And that's why we're not doing a raffle. Because they all won something already. Oops, sorry, just knocked the table.
Look at the announcement again. Oh, there's so many numbers floating in my head.
Go look, and if it turns out there's a TB person who didn't win something, we'll hand them something and call it a day.
We can do that off the podcast because I'm sure that's going to be a lot of cursing as I go through logs.
Yeah, you're going to have to go through the logs. The raffles are obviously not on these sheets. They're all on different sheets. But that's what's happened here in Aluric. So the final points changed and the relic points changed. While the same winner was in place, they had more points towards the grand championship in the end. So that's what Aluric was. Of all of the regions, I guess it was the least messed up.
Yeah. Now, Makarok and Fospear feel less messed up because Makarok didn't get announced last year, but it would be in the same shoes, and technically each of these things has a exponential ripple effect on the following.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say the Makarok stuff, and you're gonna be like, yeah, but these people never got announced, so it's nobody got something they weren't supposed to. But we have to realistically look at this, that if it had been announced correctly, Makarok would be a complete disaster. I think
much worse than Aluric.
Much worse than Aluric had been. This is only a small ripple from Narnvok as we move on.
But penalties last 2 regions per our current setup. So Makarok would be really...
Makarok's penalties were in the wrong places for things. And we looked at it with 1 previous win, and we looked at it with 2 previous wins. And when we were doing 2 previous wins and we maintained the incorrect history, it's 2 completely different podiums. 2 entirely different podiums. We did a lot of things in Makarok to figure out what effect the previously bad data was having. And it was just crazy, the difference that it was making. There was a huge ripple effect from this. And when we got to that point, that's when I said I want to say on Friday. Thursday? Okay, on Thursday, at that point in time, I said the player base has to know. There's no possible way. This isn't a thing where we're like, hey guys, we're really sorry we did some math wrong. In Narnvok, it turns out KS shouldn't have won, it was WT, let's do a raffle and we're good. At that point, I was like, no, this is an absolute mess. Everybody needs to understand what's happened here. Or at least have the ability to access the information of what happened here. And all of these sheets that we've made, these are going to be public for you to see. Like, you'll be able to get into this and view the numbers yourselves. Okay, so this is Aluric. Questions, comments on Aluric?
How did I drink my coffee so fast? We got someone typing.
Okay, give that person some time to type. While they're typing, we have 2 more regions to go over. These ones won't be as bad or as hard to go over. We can just mostly show off the previous ones, show you where the numbers are. You'll be able to see who the winners are going to be. And then I have a really cool spoiler at the end I have a spoiler and some announcements and a vote that we need to put in place. Are you still typing?
Yep, type.
Okay, we're going to give them time. And obviously, if you think of a question later, podcast questions will be left open for a couple days. You can go through and you can ask them. I'd appreciate if you kept it to podcast questions, and that way, because obviously in help chat right now, tons of admins are getting the same information you are right this moment. They're not going to have an answer for you, and they're just going to have to come and track me down. Whereas a podcast question lights up, I'm going to go there directly. So well done. And you'll get your answers much faster.
All right, so I don't follow what the exact issue/concern is if Makarok and Fospir won't announce. Can that be clarified, summarized? I think if we go to the overview where we've got our business as it was versus actual winners, you can see.
So,
and it has to do with your previous round penalties.
Basically, Makarok was the most affected by previous round penalties. Let's say Makarok had been announced with its previous penalties. The winners would have been this right here. TB would have won the Brawl, PB would have won the Relics, and TB would have won the region. That's what would have happened. And then those factions were getting a penalty to Fospir. So that's what would have happened. Here's what actually happened. So while KS lost some victories up front, they actually had them in Makarok. KS should have won the Brawl, and KS should have won the region. So what would have happened, and the reason it matters is you need to understand what would have happened and what will happen with the correct scoring, because at the end, we're going to make a decision about what we're going to do with Narnvok and Aluric voting, which will have an effect on the final totals.
And I understand, technically this was all behind the scenes. We could have just put it out, but if someone was to be like, hey, I was trying to keep track of the scoring. Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Shouldn't these people have had penalties? Because the old scoring sheets are still public too.
Yeah.
At that point, then we have to be like, okay, well, technically, let's see. Technically, WT didn't win Aluric, so it didn't get a penalty in Makarok, and so on and so forth. So we would have all of those changes affect the outcome.
Also, we don't want you to think we're hiding something that's going on in Makarok and Fospir. We're not.
Actually, you know what? I'll just be quite honest. This is going to sound so silly, but I enjoy reading the subreddit Hot Bee Drama, and I just read this dissertation level discussion
I forgot you'd done this.
about the Neopets, what is it, Altador Championship, and how Neopets has been changing winners and stuff behind the scenes with math and not communicating with the player base and looking at the fallout of that. And we don't want that.
I forgot that she had read that. I totally had until she brought it up. She did this like 2 weeks ago. And I've just sat and watched her for an entire evening read this basically subreddit in its entirety. And I was like, yeah, let's never do that. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, why? Swear to IPAC.
So fortuitous. But yeah, that's been my panic brain the whole time. We don't want you guys to not know.
Exactly. We try and actually be really open about how we're scoring things. I mean, you can even get main numbers at this point, so.
Yeah.
If you know how to inspect, you get all them main numbers.
True. Though it's actually harder to get them these days.
Well, yeah, it is, unless you understand.
How things are broken up.
Well, unless you understand, like, prime logic.
See, Marley gets me.
Marley gets you? What did Marley say?
I love watching Deep Dive. It stays on Neopets.
Okay. So, in Makarok, we went through the numbers again. We found another level of... Actually, it was significantly less, but it was there. There was issues with logging.
It's just a thing that happens when it's so manual, ergo why the new sheets
are less manual.
So many formulas.
As all my admins know, you're not allowed to do TT, trait tokens, tribe points, or just quantity addition and subtraction at all. For this exact reason. So we have it all automated. So this is Makarok. Let's run through it real quick. You can see where all the numbers are. You'll see that our ghosts are counting properly. In both rounds, they're also being included here in the counts properly. Pull that through to judging. Now TB has been given a 2-win penalty. And without that 2-win penalty, they took first. With that 2-win penalty, they took third. So it's very important that you understand the penalties be in the correct place. If those penalties hadn't been in the correct place because of previous brawls, then they took another win they shouldn't have taken. And we split them up correctly over here. So when we split them up correctly at this point, we can see like WT's getting it on there, and they got pulled down to 5th because of it. And I think they had 2nd regardless. And the weighting on it, of course, the actual points that came in and the weighting, and here's what their adjusted totals are. We've moved it out to the 2nd decimal point on all of these because at one point we were staring at something and going,
I think it was the WTTB up in the brawl, because with rounding, it would just go to 35.
Yeah, both of these just went to 35, and we were trying to figure out how TB had beat WT when they had the same score, because the ranking over there does account for it. And if you and someone like tie for 2nd place, you both get 2nd place points, and then the next one gets 4th place points. Nobody gets 3rd place. So numbers can go a little all over the place in that respect. So this is where this stands with the previous winners in place. And this is where this stands with the previous winners in place. And it came across to this, where KS took the region. They came in first. I think TB came in 2nd, and PB came in 3rd. So here's what this is. This is based on if we go back and we correct all the numbers. We're going to do a vote where we're actually going to ask people what they want us to do with that. So let's say that numbers were announced and people go, actually, I know that they're wrong, but you announced it that way. We've been running with that. So we want you to adhere to the old numbers for scoring purposes towards Grand Championship. We'll do that if that's what the majority of people want to do. There might be people who say, I want you to correct the old numbers so that cumulatively they're correct going forward. And I want the correct numbers in there as they ripple up to this region. And if we go with the old ones, then TB is not getting 2 there. Or they may still be getting 2, but like other of these previous wins, we're going to move them. Because if we're adhering to the old numbers, we're not going to penalize somebody in this round for a win they don't get credit for, if that makes sense. So that's why it's important you understand what previously happened because we have 3 options right now, and we're going to let everyone decide what they want us to do with those.
And if you guys come up with a different option that's better, we'll hear that too.
We will hear it out. So 1, we keep the old numbers in the previous 2 regions. We let them affect Makarok and Fospir as that. Previous win is really what they're affecting. Previous win has a legitimate effect on who's going to win these things. So we keep the old numbers. We go and we update our grand total one to be the old numbers. We'll put these in a position with like notes or sticky notes that people can see it so they understand this is what really happened. These are the action items we're running on by group vote. We'll do that. And then these will move the old numbers going forward to winners will change, and we'll announce those winners and we'll be good. And then we'll do it correctly going forward. You may say, I want the new numbers. I want you to go through and fix it. You're not taking prizes away from anyone. You're not taking brawl points away from anyone. But fix it so the cumulative totals come together with the new numbers to what they should have been. And also we'll make it so that you can go and ask for the achievements and badges as well.
Yes.
I want the new totals. Use those. Or you might be like, throw both regions out. Throw both regions out. They don't count towards the final announced. And if we throw the regions out,
then all the
previous wins go away. This is what happens to this region. And in Fospir, it also has an effect there too. Like there will be different previous wins because people will only have 1 previous win, not 2, and it'll change things. So you might say, throw those regions out. And it could be that people ask us to only throw Narnvok out because Narnvok was the most messed up. But even if we throw just Narnvok out, we have to do recalculations to a couple things because there will be no previous winners in Aluric, and then there'll only be 1 previous winner here in Makarok, and then 2 in Fospir. So whatever we decide has an effect. I apologize because I couldn't actually summarize it because this is the effect and why we're showing you what happened. Because you will have a voice in what we're going to do. So that's Makarok. And that's actually talking about why we're going to do this vote. I'll show you guys Fospir as well.
Fospir, I mean, is kind of even more nebulous until we decide what we're doing.
Exactly. It's very changeable based on what decisions we make for the previous regions. Let me pop up Fospir so they can see where it stands right now. That was the original, and then I need this one. And then Fospir, this has been logged at this point in time. Points have been gathered, relics have been gathered, and judging is in place. So this is actually what the judging looks like with the correct numbers going forward.
Okay, we do have a question.
Yep, go for it.
Previous regions, correct or incorrect, don't have an effect on personal individual brawl scores, right?
Oh, no.
Your brawl points are based on your relic turn-ins and your placements in your rounds.
Yeah.
And we'll have an announcement for that too.
We will. No, they don't affect your actual brawl scores at all. None of the, the round placements, like if we scroll up here to this one. Oh, look, there's a 7th Rider again. We scroll up to this one and we look at that. None of this is changing at all. Yeah. This is not... We're really comfortable with these numbers. These are actually correct based on going through these scoring guides and taking a look at them. All of this is correct. Okay? So, no, those won't change, and your brawl points are based on those, not based on the overall placement of things. Okay, and then as we were showing Fospir, this is how Fospir stands right now. With everything. Dun's been giving me crap about this one, but I don't know what to tell her because 2 second places are still better than a 1st and a 4th.
It threw me for a loop.
Yeah, she's like, these numbers are wrong. And I'm like, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. So if we come in here and we look at the faction, we get to say congratulations to KS. You have won the brawl portion of this. They took 1st place. Their adjusted total just came up the best. So in the next region, I believe you will have 2 fatigue on you at that point in time. TB came in 2nd. Congrats to us. 3rd place went to LK. LK came in 3rd in the brawl.
Okay, on Relic? That's all right.
I'm not on Relic yet. Why?
Aura has a question.
Yeah, go for it.
LK2. Oh, no, Ara, there is another LK player on Fosphere. If you go to line 36, Wolves 499 is LK as well.
Yeah, this one, so these ones we went through, and the old regions we went through and we checked based on the old doc, the new doc, and things were put in order. These ones are in thread order, so not all the LK players are together. But there is a second one down here. It's Wolves. They turned in 13 points. And then this right here, we didn't write this. This is a formula. It said pull this number right here, and then this number right here went and pulled all of the LK players based on the faction that we set for them. Math. So we actually don't write anything on here but previous wins. Everything is pulled from the data sheets before. All right. And if we go down here to relics, we say congratulations to PL. They won the relics this time around with with TB coming in second again and PB coming in third. So that's all over the place. And then when we come over here to the final factions, you'll see that TB actually took the region because 2 second places get you 10 points.
I know, it threw me for a loop.
PL comes in second with 9, with KS coming in with 8. And that's how that all rolls together. Again, depending on the decision we make, this will change unless we decide we're using the new numbers. You are seeing the correct flow shown here. But if we make a different decision, these change, and that's why that decision has to be made prior to us doing this.
Finalizing and announcing things.
Exactly. Questions on Fosphere scoring. There's not really much to say about it other than this is what it looks like. And then I'm going to roll us on over here while we see if anyone's typing.
This is all very complicated. Yeah, trust me. Oh my god, I was trying to do this without Jill for like the first several days where I was just like, I can't understand it. Why isn't it working?
Yeah, no, it was very, very complicated. And we went back through conversations from 2 years ago in our Discord and reread them to see what we'd said at the time. And we're adhering to everything we said then. We didn't make any changes to what we said back then. Mm-hmm. If we want to make a change, we would make it for going forward. We would not make it right now. That's not fair. You weren't being judged on that. With Narnvak and Aloric, which, we're telling you about, we're apologizing for, it was in good faith that we were doing it correctly. If we make a change to how scoring works right now, that's not in good faith. You didn't put it in with that in mind.
Chatter's very... Chatter's busy, but questions is not.
Okay. So then this brings us to, this is the cumulative World Tour scores. Over here, the ones in yellow are the ones that would win and be different if we use the correct numbers. And then down here, green is what would be consistent based on the old numbers, and what the red is what wouldn't have been based on it. So in here, like Makarok should have won, or TB should have won Makarok. And over here, it would have been PLTB as the region winner versus just TB. So this is just a little snapshot of old numbers versus new numbers with the final winners. It doesn't necessarily show you what the full 6 placements are across there, but that's how that is. And then this is full placement. The 3 columns on the right, this is the old numbers, and we went through Makarok and Fosphere with the old numbers, and this is the placements that everyone came out with.
I just realized we should probably freeze that top. No, do continue. Sorry.
Okay. So this is the numbers that everyone came out with based on the old. If we followed through with the old things and how it was and what it would look like, this is what we got. Who was winning what. And then these 3 are the correct numbers. We're calling them the new numbers, but they're honestly the correct numbers. And who would have won what region and the total placement. Up here, what I've done is a quick little formula that'll show you both. So via the old numbers, PL has 26 cumulative points to the Grand Championship. In the new numbers, they actually have 27. You'll see that WT, sorry guys, lost 4. KS lost 3. LK gained 2. PB gained 3. PL gained 1. And TB didn't change.
By virtue of we won other things that we lost words.
Their numbers just came out the same. We lost some things that we should have won, and we won some things we should have lost. So when it came down, by pure dumb luck, they ended up the same. But this right here is the actual standing towards things. So in the old system, TB is in first place to the Grand Championships, KS is in second, and WT is in third, followed by PL, PB, LK. In the correct numbers, TB is in first, KS is in second, PB is in third with PL. So those two are in third, which puts WT in fifth and LK in sixth. Yeah.
So
there is actually a difference. I understand it doesn't look like it in TB. I understand.
It threw us off. We thought the formula was wrong.
We feel even more weird about it because we're both TB, but like, check our math. Please check our math. If we got something wrong, especially in our own faction, we want to know about it. But that
TBs are psychos, but we can
But we can lose with grace.
Yes.
We don't have to win. We're just trying to win. Okay, so this is everything that has happened, and this will be recorded and put up on our YouTube with everything else that we do. So if someone wasn't here today, they are welcome to come back, watch the watch the YouTube, and then come talk to us.
I'm setting this. Get link. Yep. We want this to be anyone with link can view, right?
Yeah, can view. We don't want them to make edits. No offense, guys.
Do we care that the old... I have copies of all the old stuff in an old folder. Is that fine?
That's fine. They can look at the old stuff too. That's okay. Let them draw their own conclusions between things. As far as we can tell, nothing here was malicious. That nobody set out to misscore this. Narnvok's the most messed up. And looking at it, revision log by revision log, I typed 331 in there for KS. I have literally no reason to do that. I have no want for KS to necessarily beat my faction. But I typed 331 in that box, which makes me think that I was typing test data in, and the person who swept through after me never did a double check of the data. So I think Narnvok got judged in a bunch of test data that I wrote, not the actual data, and that just sucks. That sucks so much. Do we have any questions coming through?
I see some chatter.
Anything that I need to address on that front?
Nope. I think we're okay.
Questions, comments?
Lex is asking, where do we vote? I'm typing a thing in feedback right now.
Yeah. We'll have it up for you.
Do you want to explain what we're doing with brawl points? Because currently, we can show them the sheet where they're tracked, but we're going to change that.
Okay, so there is a sheet where we track brawl points.
Brawl points being your currency.
Your currency. We're going to audit it before we put them somewhere you can use them. Okay? We have to. By all sanity, all rights, we have to audit this before we give it to you. So, but these are the brawl points that people have gotten. We do have them tracked through all of the different regions. I don't think these are updated with Fosphere, so don't freak out if yours isn't accurate.
I think we're also missing the second half of Makarok on that.
And I think we're missing the second half of Makarok, but we do have them, and obviously we have the data.
Technically, I think we are technically auditing them by doing our sheets, because we can just make the sheets spit us out.
Yeah, our sheets are going to spit us out how many brawl points you earned in each region. And
probably
then
in a lovely SQL statement.
In a gorgeous SQL statement so that I can just insert them into the database. No, I shouldn't do that. We should have logs of putting them in.
You are correct.
Well, that's okay, though. We're going to...
We'll mobilize the bankers.
We'll mobilize bankers to do it. And I'm sure bankers are like, gee, thanks, Jill. We totally need more work. So your brawl points will come through. We're going to have these sheets generate them so that you get them correct. We're pretty certain that even if we use the old sheets, they should generate out. If there's differences, then it's going to be something as simple as someone typed the info in wrong, or a couple points here or there for a math miscalculation. I don't think there's going to be anything there. That being said, well, Dunn's still working on that. We're also releasing the Brawl Store. We intended to do this prior to it. That's why...
We intended to do it with the next region regardless.
It was coming with the next region regardless. I was like, well, we'll just take advantage of the podcast and tell people that the Brawl Store is coming. And the Brawl Store will allow you to spend your Brawl points on items. I'm going to show you the draft I'm going to need you all to not get hung up on the price of anything yet.
Because I just took the Tribe store.
We took the Tribe store as the original. We copied it over. We're in the process of repricing everything. We're in the process of finalizing the list of items. So this is a rough draft that we're showing you so that you know it exists.
Is this all I need to post?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to put a thing to link the VOD when it's up.
Perfect. Okay. So the raffle's going up. Not the raffle. Sorry.
Wow.
Well, we owe them a raffle. Okay. We always owe them a raffle.
You were giving them a spoiler. That's what I agreed to.
Dawn doesn't want me to give you a raffle. She wants me to give you a spoiler. I mean, it's a pretty cool spoiler.
Finish the Brawl store, nerd.
Okay. So I'm going to show you the Brawl score. Do not comment on the prices. These are not finalized prices. We haven't even really looked over the prices yet. We wrote items down. All right?
Lexi has told me we fried their brains. We owe them a raffle.
So, yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, so here's the Brawl store. Right now we're looking at in this top special section, and these are going to have purchase limits on them, we think. Probably refresh every 3 months. Spirit of competition. We told you could get one. Spirit of competition, the usual suspects.
Actually, there's a very new thing in there.
Well, that's why I only highlighted 2 rows. And then we thought about mystery Genos, but we decided that we would do random abandoned pups instead. So you purchase it, and then you have equal shot chance at getting any build or abandoned pup. So that's random abandoned pups. Soul pool water, and then jingling Toko token pouch just gets you how much TT?
I think it's 5K.
You have 5K TT. So if you just want to start buying TT, have at, my friend. We will be doing crafting bundles. This allows you to pick 4
items from a set list. You can't get 4 alder.
No, you can get 1 alder and a log and a wire spool and a blackcurrant. You can't get 4 blackcurrants. So it's a choice openable, where you can pick up to 4 items. I think 5 is what we were thinking, but we may change it. We'll see.
I need to see how many brawl points people are trying to accumulate per round.
Yeah. The reason we're being so don't freak out about the cost is because we haven't looked at how many brawl points people are accumulating on average to make decisions. And when we do that, we aim for the average people to be able to buy 2 to 3 or 1 to 3 up in the high value ticket items, and then go from there. That's usually the tact we go for. We decided that we would go ahead and put starter slots in here because everybody is gaga for them right now, so it seemed only fair. Oh, and talismans. You can just go buy yourself some talismans. Decor, the usual suspects yet again. We'll put them in there. And then at tack, we're looking a couple different directions. We, of course, have the sturdy. Dun and I are having a debate about this. She's like, throw the basic and the sturdy out. I'm like, okay, I know we are never going to buy them because we can afford it with TT, but you do know there's players playing that have only been playing a month or 2, and it's actually very beneficial for them to be able to buy it.
Yeah.
So that debate is happening.
Right now, I'm thinking we should do competition tack more than activity tack, given what it is.
And we're talking about putting the competition tack in there. Additionally, maybe doing the bone brush and all of those items as well for purchase. So there will be some craftable tack in there. I'm not so sure on the lanterns before anyone asks. The thought has crossed my mind, but I haven't...
Lanterns are pending a thing before we do anything further with them.
I have to do a revamp of how all the lanterns work. It's coming. It's probably going to be December that how lanterns work is completely going to get rebalanced to account for stuff.
So it's not, just one lantern has 1 companion. 1 lantern has 3 companions.
I am aware that I am the founder of Radiant that allows you to use those lanterns everywhere. I am also aware that 2 months ago it came to my attention that 1 lantern had 1 companion and 1 lantern had 3 companions, and as I was staring at it, I was like, how did it take me this long to realize how broken that is? So when all is said and done, there will be 6 lanterns, and they will be much better split out. Okay? Okay. But that's probably December before I'm going to get to it. And after that, we can talk about putting lanterns in places. And then we're going to do carriers, much like carriers in the USD store, but I think these are going to only give you 1 companion.
Sale, not store.
Yeah, sorry. My bad. The USD sale. We don't have a USD store that allows you to buy companions like that.
That'd be insane.
No, not fair at all. We don't pay to win. So these are like the ones from the USD sale. But these will probably only be 1, not like the 1 to 3 like those are. And I did toss this at admins and say, hey, if you've got ideas, throw it at me. So the list may change a bit.
I personally want to get us some more deity plushies, but that's, of course, making Jill go calm art.
That's making Jill go talk to Locke, and Locke somehow finding time in her extremely busy time to make us more plushies. Okay? But we are talking about doing some region-based plushies. You'll remember there was a vote a little bit ago about who was the favorite deity in each region.
Yeah, it's not like we did that for any reason or anything.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the draft of this. This is going to go live as soon as I finalize it. It's 100% all about me just finalizing it.
You guys saw, if you pay attention to One Night Art Stand, I calmed a Brawl Point item the other day. So they'll be going into banks.
Yep. And we won't necessarily wait on that art. We'll just update that art as we go. It's not like a companion that shows up on accounts. Or excuse me, on Tokos. Alrighty. Any questions about the Brawl store? And I swear to God, if you ask me about the price of something in these questions, revenge will be had.
Locke's price has gone up. It's now 2 abandoned Taquinos.
2 abandoned Taquinos. She says that like I wouldn't pay it.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to see if there's any typing questions. I was having too much. Okay, there's people typing questions. I was having fun in chatter. I'm sorry.
Absolutely shocking. We have more questions about the Brawl store than we do about the disaster that was happening.
We broke their brain, man.
I know. And I knew we were going to. But could you imagine if I had written this out? If I had tried to... What? Don't make me go look on my own. What?
But Jill, the prices in alternating caps. It's great. I love.
I'm coming for you, Seer.
No. Oh, do you think recipes might be added to the Brawl store? Legendary's always fighting me, so
Oh, recipes?
Yeah, let me go put that in brainstorm.
That seems. Yeah, go put that in the brainstorms. I think I would be okay with that. I don't think that hurts anything to have recipes.
With us having purchase limits, we open the doors for a lot more things.
I'm gonna have to build I have to build a new table for tracking the purchase limits for the store, which is why it's not like, oh, it'll be here tomorrow. But it won't take me too long to do that.
But we do have some other things for September open that we have to. We had things already launching in September that we have to make sure we handle.
Yeah,
being tribes and adventures.
Yeah, tribes and adventures are coming in September, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Let's see. Or recipe packs. Recipe packs could work. I'll go put that in the brainstorm too.
Okay. I don't want to make an openable for every single one of those, though.
Well, we can figure this out. We got this. I got this.
Okay, I'm just saying I don't want to make an openable, and I don't want to have to go and update the openable code to dynamically generate it.
That'd be really cool.
It would be great, but I'm not willing to do it right now as much as I love Locke. Sorry, I had to read who it was.
All right, what are we raffling? There is some more people typing in questions.
Okay, raffle time. Oh, let's see. What's the coolest thing going on right now?
Life.
Can I raffle a spirit of competition? Am I allowed to raffle one of those?
Why not? There's few out there.
There's few out there. Okay, we're going to raffle a spirit of competition because this was all about World Tour Brawl anyway. So, spirit of competition. So the next region that's coming is the Savannah, called, done say it once. Vernma. Trust me, you wanted her to say it once before I said it, before we had an entirely different pronunciation for this and a new war.
Yeah, Tokotne. Jesus.
Yeah, Tokotne.
Ugh.
It's on the Tokopedia, okay?
In a dialect form.
It's on the Tokopedia. So, thinking about that, we are going to be in a Savannah. Give me some suggestions for Savannah-based activities for the Brawl, such as we had surfing and cliff diving in Narnvak, we had Raptor Roundup, and the rope bridge run. I think it was a marathon in Faux Spear. So go ahead and give me some of those in the raffle channel. I'm not going to make this one super long because I don't have a ton to talk about in the meantime.
We'll say 10 minutes. So
10 minutes. Okay. Yep, 10 minutes starting now.
At the top of the hour.
Yep, I'll definitely give away 1 Spirit of Competition. I might do 2, depending on how many people enter.
For feedback, should we comment with our decision or vote with the numbers? Either is fine. I've added the reaction so you can vote with reaction if you want.
I would super appreciate it if everyone used a reaction. And you put your comment below, because I'll read all of them regardless. But I would also really appreciate if you could give me the snapshot of the feelings right at the top by doing the react. Where's everyone feeling right now? Like, this is
nobody started voting, even though I put the thing
you
up.
may start voting on that too. Like, that's thank you for waiting, but you may start voting on that. And then just in like general to everybody, how are you feeling on what you've just learned? I mean, we're human. We make these mistakes. We were not excited to do this podcast today, but, you know, as we've said, we needed to know about it.
We come bearing gifts.
Kind of. Yeah.
You talked me into a hell of a spoiler.
Yeah, I did talk you into a hell of a spoiler. Like, I have to vote on that, too.
Well, that's true.
All right. So, I see chitter-chatter going in every direction over there.
Check mark. There we go.
Okay, check mark. All right. So let's actually talk about the spoiler. A couple of you know, admins know that this is happening. They're not actively involved in the process. No offense, admins. It's not that we want to cut you out of the process, but we have been actively working on getting our finalized lines for all of the other builds that are coming. We're actively working on it, and I made the decision that we were going to keep the group of initial reactions to concepts down to just the managers. If you've not done like any sort of creative endeavor before, like, oops, sorry guys, I don't mean to keep hitting the table. If you've done any sort of creative endeavor before where you've got something that's very subjective, which all line art is subjective, it's not objective, it's subjective to everyone's opinion. The more people you have, the more difficult it is to focus and make a decision because everyone has different likes and wants. So I've locked it down to the managers to do the concepting and designing of the builds, because if I have 60 admins putting in decisions, it's very difficult.
Also asking for us to burn out the artist with too many rounds of revisions, and we try to keep ourselves to no more than 2 ever.
No more than 2 rounds of revisions ever. We pride ourselves in being not a total pill to work with for artists. So admins have been seeing the concepts come through as we have them finalized, and we know exactly what something's going to look like when we get the final lines. And we've been working on getting the Gnat and the Sphinx of all of those builds. That's in the idea that the Sphinx is used as the building block for all mains going forward. Make sure that the neck's always in the same place. We learned that with Tokara, that actually really mattered, because we had 2 separate people working on mains. They came back and they had different necks. Like,
oh no, it was Tokotas.
Was it Kotas?
Yeah, it was Tokotas. That was the first.
Thank you. Akotas and Tokaras are the first time we truly accounted for it correctly. But yeah, so when we are having a build made, we always start with the Gnat main, because that's the first and the most common that everyone will have. And then the Sphinx, so that all mains can be built on top of that. So as of right now, I have the Makata, the Maralta, and the Odonix. And I have their Sphinx, and I have their Gnat main of all of them in finalized line art form. Actually, they all have like flesh layers too. Like, I have those, and those are going to be used over the next couple of years to finish building out the mains and the physical traits for all of those builds. That being said, given this is such a disaster, and I was actually going to hold these until next June at our next anniversary, I'd be like, hey guys, look, we're making promise and progress on that thing we said we were doing over the next 5 years. I'm not going to show you finalized line art, but I am going to show you the finalized concept sketch. So this is the one that when we got this, all the managers agreed this was going to be what built the final lines. So I have it for all 3 of them. Dunn has agreed that I can show one of them off.
I'm setting up a reaction. Whoops.
Yep. So Dunn's agreed I can show one of them off. I will let you guys pick which one of those you want it to be. She's setting it up real quick in chatter. Just quick reactions. It's going to be like the next minute or so reactions.
Assuming I can get these reactions on there, because now everybody talked about my typing, so I'm being super awkward about it.
Why are you being awkward about typing?
I don't know.
You're so weird some days. So we'll give that a moment.
Yep. Oh, tied. Interesting. No.
Not tied? What are we looking for?
Looks like Odonix is pulling ahead.
Odonix is pulling ahead. Okay. This one's going to be weird.
This is going to be the most startling of them all.
Okay, so Odonix is actually based on the original wolf bear dogs. Everyone jokes about how we are wolf bear dogs, and when we're doing that, lots of new people that come in or other ARPGs in general, they show up and they're like, oh yeah, you're based on this animal. And we're like, no, we're really not. I get it that we're wolf bear dogs, but we don't look anything like that. So the Odonix was actually made in the anatomy of the original wolf bear dogs.
Well, bear dogs.
Bear dogs.
I can't say Latin words.
Shh, don't look at me. I barely know Latin. I say ergo all the time, but that's about it. So this is based on the wolf or bear dog, the original bear dog, and if we'd actually built them in accordance with what a bear dog is. So the Odonix is the furthest out in concept of what you're used to when it comes to a Toko, and in release. Of the 3 that I have, they are the furthest away. Is Odonix still winning?
Yep, 13 for... Oh, poor Makata, so far behind.
What a pity, because Makata's the one coming next.
Yeah.
Okay, so Odonix it is. All right, let me... actually, fun fact, Odonix has the most for you to see in the concept, too. So
oh, yeah.
I didn't want to say that to judge the voting. So this is the Odonix. Up here in the top left, this is the Gnatmane Odonix. Up here in the top right, that's the Sphinx Odonix. And then these are a couple concepts for manes going forward. So you kind of get the feeling of where the flow of the fur is on these guys. Because they have those really, like, bulky shoulders going on. And the stubby little legs. Sitting next to a Toko, where did these stand? They were shorter.
They're, I think, between Toki and Toko.
Yeah.
Because these guys are breedable with Tokis.
Yes, they will be breedable with Tokis and Tokotas. Were they supposed to be breedable with Makata too?
Yeah, they're that lower right-hand corner.
Yeah, they're the lower right-hand corner of the build chart, so they're actually breedable with Makatas, which are coming out before them, Tokotas, and Tokis. They're not breedable with Tokaras. All right. So, there you go. This is what the final... lines will be built off of. These are the finalized concept sketches. We have super long snouts, massive teethy jaws. I think they're a little creepy. That's not a bad thing though. Like don't take that as I thought they were a bad thing.
Oh my god, they're Sivo species.
They're just a little creepy in the way that they're put together. Dunn pointed out to me earlier today that that's probably because this sort of anatomy hasn't made it through to like normal animals that we would see, like present day animals.
Like thylacine, but you liked the one that we had that was more thylacine based, which was a lot thinner and leaner.
Exactly, but this was what the final win was, because I don't make every decision by myself. Managers had a huge say in what this, and then a very, very kind Tina just kept mashing things together to help me get to where I needed to be. These actually had the most rounds of revisions I think we've ever done on a build.
Oh, they're right, actually. Fossas do exist.
Oh, okay.
I'll pull one of those up for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dunn's the resident animal expert. It's not me. It's not me.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
They're like weasel cat things.
Oh, okay. No, I kind of get that. Like, that works.
And now this is the next step towards cat tokos.
Well, I did think that the cat tokas were actually going to come off of this, not the other side of the room.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. So, Dun's trying to convince me of the next layer of builds that are coming, that we need cat tokos. I need something more... I need a way that they're cats, but still tokos. That's the thing. Because it's still got to feel like a toko when we're done. And not just a toko with cat ears.
How dare you?
Whatever, it's true.
Oh god, I went into raffle and to start counting, and the first thing is meerkat roundup. We need a meerkat companion. There is like this big movement for meerkats.
We'll get a meerkat companion. I just need someone to go make me a meerkat companion. Did you close the raffle?
Oh, I should close the raffle before I start counting.
You should definitely close the raffle before you start counting.
I'm so sorry.
Alrighty, so count it up.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'll count it.
Okay, fine. I'll keep talking. But yeah, so this is the Odonix. I actually do find it a little creepy, but in a good way. And I think the Maralta is my new favorite, though. Holy crap, do I want a Maralta? I need, like, a long mane and a curly. Ugh, it would be so good. Dun's distracted. So, yeah, the Maralta is going to be, like, my
you
new...
want 1 or 2 rolled?
How many?
25.
Yeah, go ahead and roll 2. So, I think the Maralta is going to be my new favorite. And they're going to be pretty tall. They're actually taller than a Tokota. They're almost up at the height of a dyer. And the Makata has some crazy claws going on as well. And I'm going to be excited when you all take those crazy claws and try and put them with another build, thinking that they're different things. I really wish I could have shown you them all, but only one.
16.
How's the raffle going?
Don't make me lose count. Jesus, 16.
Dan's still counting up the raffle.
20.
One moment, guys.
20. Fuck. 16. 17. 22. 20. 23. Is that right?
No, I don't know. I don't know what you're counting. And every time I talk, you lose your place, even though you told me to keep talking.
Leave me be. Okay, there we go. Flicka and Space Poodle.
Okay, Flicka and Space Poodle. You will be getting a Spirit of Competition. Dun will toss those into your inventories now, because I think we know both of your names, so we don't need to ask for them. And I think she'll be posting those raffle winners in a moment.
There we go. And I'll go do the deposit now as well.
Okay, beautiful. All right, everybody. Oh, look at us. We're ending it right as I thought we would be at 2 o'clock.
Hey!
I estimated this correctly. Well, that's the disaster. Of course, you can keep coming back and asking questions about it. This podcast will be available on YouTube for everyone to see. We'll see what happens when Dun rewatches it. And
What did you do?
nothing.
Did you sneak another one of those?
Never.
You did!
No. You can't prove anything.
There's a recording!
That's going to take you hours to get to that. I'll have you distracted before then. And we'll check in on your counting for this. We'll probably leave it up for a couple days to give people time to come through and to look at things and make their own vote.
You showed a Makata.
No, I did not.
Everyone has ratted you out.
I did not show them a Makata.
Did you do both of them?
All right, guys.
Oh my god.
Lots of love. And let us know what you think. Bye.
Bye, guys.